Sup witches, and welcome to this tutorial series on Riders of Jorvik. This series is going to go into everything you need to know in order to jump in and start playing Riders on Jorvik, no matter what your experience is with games of this style. So, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about what Riders of Jorvik is. This is a tabletop role-playing game, similar to games like Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, that is inspired by the Star Stable franchise. It uses the Powered by the Apocalypse metagame template, and then is built around the lore and magic of the Jorvik setting in order to encourage players to be able to tell stories in what is the Star Stable lore. To get started, you're going to need a couple things. For one, head down to the description of this video or any other video in the series, and click on the link to download the guidebook and character sheets for Riders of Jorvik. These documents go over all of the rules for the game and provide an easy reference sheet for your character's play information while you're in the middle of a session. While you're printing off your character sheet, be sure to pick some regular 6-sided dice up, no need for fancy d20s or anything like that, and have those set out for when you have your character sheet all filled out. Next, you're going to need a group of friends to play with. Games like this are typically best enjoyed with 3 to 5 players and 1 GM, but this can vary depending on the group and how you best play. One of the people in your group needs to be designated as the Game Master. We'll be referring to this as the GM as we go on later in the series. The GM is something like a narrator. They narrate the story for sure, but they also play all the other characters that you will be meeting, like the friendly stable managers or even the enemies that you'll be up against. The GM isn't playing against the players, they are just playing all the components for the players. But the goal of the GM is to motivate the players to engage and do more interesting things. And if you ever need any help finding a group to join or run, then be sure to check out the Discord link down below for the Riders of Jorvik beta testing server, where we have group finding options available for y'all. After you have your group, you should plan on having a session 0. A session 0 is kind of setting up the ground rules between the GM and the players to make sure that everybody is on the same page before you start playing. This can be done one-on-one with the GM, or it can be done as a group where you all build your characters together to get an idea of what your characters want to be. This depends on how much you want to tell about your characters before you start your sessions and how much you want to be a secret. This is a good time for players to talk to the GM about the kinds of stories they'd like to be in, and for the GM to talk about the kind of stories they want to tell, so that everyone can find something that they're happy with before you get too deep into the campaign. It's also a good time to lay ground rules for what kind of group you want this to be. Do you want it to be laid back and silly? Do you want this to be kind of more mature? How do you feel about character death? Are there any other topics that need to be completely off the table for everyone to have a good time? This is the point where you should have these conversations before you get into a session and something becomes awkward. And with that, that's really all the basics. Once you have your character sheet filled out, you can hop into a game and have your first session. Remember that it's okay to make mistakes, and keep the guidebook on hand to reference as you're going. Now it's time to roll up your very first character. The next couple of weeks are going to go into how to build a character and all the minutiae of the bits that you can put into your character's design. So if you want to stay tuned for all of that, be sure to go down and subscribe and ring the bells to stay up to date on all things Riders of Jorvik. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!